Okay, here we go.
Test.
Roll music?
Let's roll it.
Welcome to the Unknown Morning Show.
It's the show where we explore radio,
Podcasting,
TV,
gear,
gearheads,
and making money with a hot mic and other stuff too.
This is the Unknown Morning Show.
I'm Mandee Montana.
And I'm Chuck McKinley.
Another edition of the Unknown Morning Show. You know, Mandee, it's always great. We have our friends on the show, and one of our good buddies, you've worked with them in the same building. So have I. A legend in the rap and hip hop community. Just not in these parts, over in Houston as well.
Heck yeah.
Our good friend Anthony Harris, but folks know him as Luscious Ice.
Hey man, it's a once-in-a-lifetime sextacular.
I had to do that because I thought, I wonder if he'll remember.
Hey man, that's iconic.
Oh God. Oh my God.
How y'all doing, man? How y'all doing? How you doing, Mandee, man?
Good. It's so good to hear you. Like, it's been so long. I feel like it's been years. It probably has.
It has been years. I've been gone for 9, so it has been years.
Whoa.
What? Are you in Houston?
I left in 15, yeah.
Wow. Ice.
So
My brain
What's going on,
is
y'all, man?
still absorbing that. I'm like 19. Wow, 9 years.
Hey, so you've been out of radio since 15?
I'm back on now. But I was out from 15 until this year. Yeah. I mean, but I really didn't pursue it anymore either. So
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
So you're doing Houston radio, right?
yeah, I'm doing Houston radio. I'm mixing on KTSU, my alma mater's radio station.
Oh, neat.
That's cool.
So Friday and Saturday.
Awesome. Well,
Yes, ma'am.
so we started this, in May, Chuck?
Yeah, I think April, right?
April? Yeah, we probably
yeah.
started recording then. So kind of background real quick, Ice. I started this, you see the Celebrating Women image behind me. That I started that podcast almost 2 years ago. And then I kept bugging Chuck. We were going to have coffee on Saturday mornings. And I was like, why don't we just have some microphones and coffee and have a podcast? And he finally agreed to it whenever I said we could interview our friends in the business.
Yeah.
And so we decided to get started, and it's been a little clumsy at times, but our interviews have been the things that we've enjoyed the most. And we were kind of making a list of all the people that we'd worked with, and obviously you were near the top of that list, and we were like, we got to get Ice on. And then when your birthday happened, I was like, hey, this is a good time to ask.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
Appreciate that.
So talk about that. Talk about how you got started. You got started in college?
Yes. My first semester, my freshman year, I was going to TSU and I was in communications, and one of my instructors got me an internship at the radio station.
Okay.
So I started there. I was working for news talk there. Imagine that in jazz.
Okay.
So after about a year, they created a hip hop show, and they brought the hip hop show back, and they wanted me to be a part of it. Now I was just doing production. I wasn't on the air.
Okay.
But my passion was to be on the air.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked my way back on the air, and after 2.5 years of being there, I went to 97.9.
What?
The
box?
The radio one station. Yeah, the box. I went to the box.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big, man.
And I was there for 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then I moved to Tyler the first time I was in Tyler to program the Blaze.
Okay.
Did that a year and a half. Then I went to Philadelphia for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I went from market 149 to market number 4. Philly was number 4 at the time.
Wow.
As a PD, I'd only been programming about a year and a half when I went to Philly.
Okay.
So, Robert Scorpio was my consultant and my PD when I was at the box.
Mm-hmm.
So he saw something in me, and he had me go to Philly for a couple of years. Then I left Philly. I went to Memphis for a year. Then I came back to Tyler to the Blaze as the morning guy.
I didn't know you
LT
did
was
mornings.
my program director. He was my PD. Rest in peace, LT.
Yeah. Wow.
So after a couple of years of doing that, they moved me to afternoons. Then afternoons, Charlie L came and took LT's place as the PD.
Mm-hmm.
Then after about a year and a half of that, they switched me and Charlie O around. They made me the PD again.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was the PD for the next 5 years. And that's when you were at the Blaze, Mandee.
Yeah.
You was there. I brought you in.
I know. I'm still so shocked and honored that you brought me in. That was such a fun time.
Yeah, I mean, because I saw in you what you didn't see in you, you know.
Yeah, you did.
And of course, you made some transitions and some moves.
Yes.
And then I left there in 2013 and went to Hot 107.
Yes.
Town Square. Reunited with you.
Yep.
And I was there for like a year. Then after that, I just got out of radio.
I don't blame you.
But I never stopped DJing. I've been a DJ 40 years.
So were you doing that before you got your job at the college radio station?
Yes, that's what I started. I started DJing first.
Okay. Okay. So how did you get started in that? Tell me this story, because I don't know this part of your history. I knew a little bit about where you had bounced around in radio, and I mean that in like the highest regard. You obviously were in some great markets. I understand. But talk to me about DJing, because I mean, Chuck's done parties.
Yeah.
I attempted to do it for a hot second, and I was terrible at it, Ice. It's not something I'm good at, but you have a gift. I've seen you do it. I've been to parties that you've DJ'd, and they always are so much fun. How did you get started and develop those skills, or is it just a gift?
High school.
Okay.
I graduated in 1985. So me and my buddy, we were on a team together. I ran track field.
Uh-huh.
I got my scholarship in cross country. So he decided to go to the military. He had the DJ equipment.
Oh.
So yeah, he taught me how to DJ. I was rapping.
Okay.
He was DJing. And then we switched around. I became the DJ and he became the rapper. And then he went to the military. So he left this equipment with me so I could work to buy my own equipment.
Okay.
And I never looked back.
Okay.
I mean, there's so many stories about parties, but I never looked back from that situation. so we're talking about 1986. So never look back.
Yeah. So no stories that you're able to share.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Ice, I got a question for you. So when you programmed the first time at the Blaze, were you like, for lack of a better term, the expansion program director? As the station came out of the box, you were the man in the chair. Is that it?
Yeah.
I was kind of wondering, because I remember the chatter on the Blaze in the marketplace. There was, and Mandee and I have talked about it a couple times. There was, and I'm sure, obviously, they had the 1 hour demo that ran for like 3 months, and it showed up, I think, the first month in the ratings period. It ended up with a 4 share, and we all went, uh-oh, we've got some big players here, you know, and of course, it has been.
Well, I was the first one ever. I was the first voice ever on the Blaze.
Really?
And they brought me in 2 days after Christmas in 1999. So that beat you heard started becoming music. And what's so funny, I was working at the box at the time. Scorpio was the consultant.
Okay.
So I would do these mixes for Scorpio, 15, 20-minute mixes. And I given them to him. One day I asked him, why am I doing mixes? Because he just say, hey, Ice, do a 20-minute mix for me. A week later, do a 40-minute mix for me. I helped develop that first library with the mixes. So one day, I used to mix on the morning show at 97. After the morning show, I asked Scorpio, why am I doing these mixes for you? He said, well, Ice, I'm doing this radio station out of town. They need music. I said, where? In Tyler, Texas. I'm like, okay. Now, I'd only been to Tyler one time to visit Texas College on a college tour trip years earlier. I said, so what do they need at their radio station? I'll be able to go up there and mix and on the weekend. He said they need every position. I'm about to tell you another story. 2 years earlier, I took Scorpio out to eat one time. Me and him went to Papados here in Houston. And I told Scorpio, I want your job.
What?
He said, what? I didn't mean it like that, but what I meant, I want to become a PD someday. He said, okay. And so we just talked and ate and did what we did. 2 years later, the Blaze came up. So he said they need everything. Morning jock, afternoon jock, night jock. I said, I want to be the PD. So he sent me to tell about a week later to meet Rick Reynolds, who was the general manager at the time. Rick was the general manager. And I'm like, okay, this was the Twilight Zone. Because all that stuff you got in Thailand now wasn't there. Mm-hmm. I was really in the country. I'm like, do I really want to come here? So I went up there and met Rick. You know, Rick was a cigarette smoker.
Yep.
So we had a meeting on the patio because he smoked cigarettes all day long. After about 10 minutes of being there, he said, you got the job.
Oh.
Wow.
A week later, I was up there working. That was 2 days after Christmas that year. Mm-hmm. I was working. I was the only employee the station had. And imagine when I got on the mic, how many phone calls I got.
I bet you were flooded.
We went, our first book was in 11, number one in the market. 12 plus.
Makes sense.
My afternoon numbers, I had a 30.
Oh.
12 plus.
I believe it because everybody at my high school was rolling around singing Little Troy's I Want to Be a Baller at the top of our lungs.
Didn't I do your prom?
Yeah, you did one of my dances. You did, yes.
Yeah, I thought I did. Yeah, I did a dance for you. I thought it was the prom, but I did a dance at your school.
You did a dance at my school because I remember you were the first DJ I'd ever seen bring in vinyl. Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's like for real. I mean, because at that point we were mostly listening to CDs. And that's Chuck DJ'd my junior prom.
Yeah.
And so he rolled in, you know, with CDs at that point. But yeah, I think you did it was either a winter formal, my junior or senior year. I can't remember which. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's got records. Like I was so excited by it because I was enamored with the radio. I listened to all kinds of stations all the time. I didn't really ever think I would go into it. I just enjoyed it. Yeah. I was just like a P1. I was always listening.
Yeah. Yes, I did that dance at your school. I remember that.
Yeah.
And Nelly was the hottest artist at the time.
Yes. Nelly was.
Nelly.
Yes.
I had to play Nelly like 4 times in one night. So.
But you understood
I remember that.
You understood that that's what we wanted to hear, though, and you kept playing it. Like, I think some people are like, no, I've already played it. I'm not playing it again because they're thinking about
radio.
Yeah, they're thinking about radio.
If you're a radio jockey, you think that way, but then, you get, when you're doing the gig, whatever the kids want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like that in the club, too, Ice? When you're DJing clubs, do you kind of get a feel for it? You just watch the crowd and you play things again if it's what they want?
Well, one thing I learned about club, I got 3 crowds in the club.
Oh.
They got the early crowd, the listening crowd. Mm-hmm. They got the 10 o'clock crowd.
Yep.
They've been drinking already. Mm-hmm. Then they got the late crowd that close it out.
Yep.
So I would play a record at 9 o'clock, and I may play it again at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Depending on the record. Yeah. I don't like playing more than one time.
Yeah.
So, I sort of front load the newer stuff. Mm-hmm. The major stuff is between the mid and the late night.
Yeah.
That's the major stuff. Mm-hmm. But you got these people that come in at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock wanting to hear the hottest song, and I got to explain to them.
Yeah.
I'm going to work my way towards that. It's like building a story. That's what DJing is. You building a story.
Yep. Oh, that's awesome. So what do you prefer to do? Do you prefer radio or do you prefer playing parties and clubs?
Well, I started in parties and clubs.
Right.
Because I got more control.
Yes.
I love radio. I did it 28 years. Mm-hmm. So I love radio, and I love the idea that you play an important part in people's lives. And like, it's people that still think that I'm on the radio in Tyler. They'll see me in Tyler like, hey man, what time you come on the radio? Uh-huh. I've been out of Tyler for 10 years. So it's the impact that you have on people, and you can be a person that get their mind off of their problems by however long they listen to you.
Yep.
That's what I love about radio, the influence.
I mean, Ice, I know when I did mobile DJ work, what I liked it and kind of was a tiny bit scared of it is, you would have the instant gratification. You knew when your stuff was, when you're rolling with something, you knew that it's striking a chord with the crowd, I can't tell you how many times my wife used to come with me to gigs, and I would say, okay, I'm going to play this, and if it doesn't work, we're going home. It would you just don't know. But I had gotten to where when I first started doing gigs, gosh, I had a hard time, and And I found out real quick that I had to keep up on all of the music charts, much more so than when I was a regular music director. You know, I had to look at, what's Nelly doing? Are we doing this? Can I get a clean copy, et cetera, just to, have that. I mean, I found out really, really, really quick with kids that I couldn't sit there and come in and do like old school. That worked a half a gig, and it just didn't work at all. The only other gig that maybe, okay, my wife would text me. I was doing a gig at the Gilmer Jamboree, and I don't know if you've ever had anything like this. And I
know about Gilmer Jamboree.
Yeah.
And I was talking to one of the kids about something, and it was something to where I told the people that hired me, and I said, look, I'm going to submit a playlist to you. They were a little nervous on music, and I said, well, let me submit a playlist. You okay it. I'll play it from stem to stern and repeat it, and, we all go home, and kids are happy. So I'm sitting there talking to one of the kids. My back is away from my gear. And the next thing you know, silence. And I'm thinking, okay, somebody hit a chord. I'm turning around and one of the dads is at my gear pulling levers down. And I just said, what are you doing? Well, we don't like this song. And I held up my clipboard and I said, it's been approved. Well, we don't like it. And I said, well, what do you want me to do? You want me to play just old school? Yes. And I said, okay. I will do that for the rest of the night. And that's what I did. I played old school for the rest of the night. The kids hated it. And I said, talk to your moms and dads about it. I got my money and,
And one thing I learned about DJing a long time ago, everybody is not going to let you do it 100% of the time. Not everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, I've had instances at sorority and honeydew parties, at weddings, at different situations where it was always that one sour apple. But my thing is, I try to talk to them and talk out of that frame of mind while I'm DJing. Get your mind off of it for a minute. Explain to them, well, hey, am I doing this for the kids or am I doing this for you?
Sure.
They're paying me, but it's for the kids. So I throw it back on them. You got to make a decision. Do you want your kids happy or am I here to satisfy you? Which I have to do a little bit of both. But I faced that situation, Chuck, a whole bunch of times.
Yeah. In weddings, too. I've had it in wedding situations where, going into, bridesmaids cut loose and everybody, and, I would have specific requests. Don't play it too hard. Don't play it too hardcore rap, whatever. Don't play country. I remember there was one, don't play country. And I said, okay. Bridesmaid came up and wanted to hear Kenny Chesney. I said, well, I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to because it was a request. And she kind of looked at me and I said, well, I tell you what. And I recognized her from the bridal party. I said, please talk to the bride, get it okay, and I'll be glad to. I never heard from it. And, you do what you can
request.
do. I got a story about being at White House High School, the home of Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
Now, we used to do these street hits on Friday, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The Blaze had a street hit every Friday. I was doing nights at the time, so I would do my show at different high schools around the area. I went to White House one time, and me and one of the promotions guys were together. He set me up. So I didn't bring no DJ equipment. We played the music radio station. And White House High School kicked us off the campus because they were playing rap.
What?
They did us all. And the kids was going crazy, having a good time dancing, and cheerleaders were out there. They made us leave.
Oh, wow.
So that was a parent situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of them challenges that I faced that you're talking about. But I've been in that situation, Chuck, a whole time now. Fast forward, today's rap, I don't deal with it. I run and come from rap. I don't deal with today's rap because, one, it changes too quick. It changes up a lot. And I'm 59 years old now, so I can't be a 59-year-old teenager.
Now that doesn't work, does it?
You can't. Wait a minute. You can't be. You're breaking Ice. You're breaking my heart, baby.
My kids are gone, man. I can't live like them. They're grown.
Oh, that's funny.
So,
that's funny. So what do you like to do now then? If you're not playing today's rap, are you playing old school?
buy me a cup of coffee, Mandee.
Yeah.
I've seen that on other podcasts. That's literally...
Yeah, it's like a virtual tip jar. It's really that simple. So you go to the show notes, click Buy Me a Coffee, and then you have an opportunity to support the show in any way you like. Imagine yourself going to coffee with Chuck and myself and saying, hey, I like what you do on the show. I'm going to buy you a cup of coffee. Only all you have to do is click a link. It's that simple.
When I do play rap, it's the older stuff. I got some of the newer stuff, but I like doing ironically blues.
Yeah.
I like doing Southern song. I like doing R&B, and then I can also, man, you know this personally. I could do rock.
Oh, yeah.
I could do country.
Yeah.
I do country and rock because I do a lot of trail rides now too.
Okay, tell me about your trail rides, because Chuck and I were talking about this. I think you did some during COVID, and I don't even know what this is. What is a trail ride?
Well, we're going to start with horses. Now, it's a time that where it originated from, it's a time where a bunch of people get together and ride horses.
Okay.
A stretch is 2, 3, 4, 5 miles,
Uh-huh.
But they made it riding out of an event. They got I'll call the horse riding a parade. They got that.
Okay.
Then after the trail ride is over, they come and do a pasture party.
Oh, fun.
Okay.
Yeah. They got a lot of them in East Texas. I've done some in East Texas, too.
Really?
So that's all it is. Break it down in a nutshell, that's all it is.
A big pasture party after a parade of horses.
Yeah.
I like it. It sounds like fun.
So how does that work for your physical setup, Ice? Do you have it to where you pack your own awning and everything, too, I guess?
Yeah. The whole situation, man.
Yeah.
Bunch of speakers, because you got to accommodate the people.
Generator.
Got to have enough sound.
What about generator? I guess generator, too? Do you do that?
I got 2 of them, yeah.
Okay.
Pull the trailer out, unload, play, pack it back up, go home.
Wow.
Okay.
I got to see one of these
It's that
sometime,
simple.
Ice. You got to send me photos. This sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't done one. As a matter of fact, I did a dance in San Antonio last Friday, but that was a dance. That wasn't a trail ride, but it was for a trail ride group.
I gotcha. So how are you marketing yourself now then? Are you is it just word of mouth? I mean, I know you know a lot of people.
On social media. I mean,
Okay. Yeah.
those are the ones that you let know that you're still relevant. The people that know you're relevant.
Right.
But the people that don't know don't know you're relevant. Mm-hmm. So, you got to keep it, push it. I took the radio ideology of advertising where I'm repetitive. I'm very repetitive on what I do. Mm-hmm. I talk about it every day.
Okay.
You got to let people know.
Yeah.
So
no.
you have Facebook, Instagram, things like that, and you're doing regular posts and sharing pictures, like your San Antonio gig, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Regular posts, man. I mean, even though people didn't make it, they knew I was there.
Mm-hmm.
I like that stuff too. I tend to be a gearhead anyway in terms of, what are you using? What kind of software, rules your MP3s and all of that stuff. I always find that interesting, especially, I mean, my first set of, my first gear was like one of those gigantic coffins that were gosh, I don't know, 5 feet long. It looked great, but man, it was clumsy, and it went up in a fire. And I still have gear at home. I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where, when I was off the radio for about a year, for about 9-10 months, we had enough gigs to where we could go, hey, you know what? We don't have to eat chili dogs every day, and things went pretty well because of it. So, I haven't done well, I think, Mandee, when you and Aaron got married was
the last one you
or
did?
last one, rather.
Yeah.
And that was 5 years ago?
Oh, it'll be 8 in January.
Yeah, see, time flies. But I still keep my gear because you never know, I may have to get it out there and put on my knee braces and go to work for that, and then pretend I'm a damn teenager.
One thing I know, it's been very supplemental income for me. Mm-hmm. So it's kept me going. It's kept me interested, and, I still got the same desire that I had about 10, 20 years ago. Uh-huh. I still love it.
When I was doing radio, specifically when I was at the ranch, just doing afternoons, but doing gigs on the side, I adored it because I got it up to maybe, I guess about 50 gigs a year for a couple,
Wow.
3 years. And I had that, it was a really nice balance. It wasn't too much work. I was fine with it, but I really, really liked it. And there was always the variety between whether it was a kids' dances or weddings or, class reunions. I like that a lot too,
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I still had the same feeling about it I had years ago. So I don't think that'll ever go away.
Well, I admire it, Ice, because both of you, I did it for probably 5 years, and I never got into enough of a rhythm with it where I felt comfortable. I could do like background music, fine. That was fine. If somebody like needed me to play a background banquet, that kind of thing. But when it came to like kids' dances or weddings, I never got the feel for the room the way I think you guys do from having much more experience and probably just like more experience in life in general, because I was trying to do this when I was in my 20s and I was just naive and clueless. And I just never really
we
felt.
talked about it, Mandee.
Yeah.
We talked about it when you were DJing.
Yeah. I was not good at it. Not
You
good.
wanted to get into it. You was talking to me about it. I remember talking to you about the Blaze.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I just admire it so much. I also when you're doing mixes, whenever you're able to like, and this, I'm going to use bad terminology because I'm not well versed, but like when you're crossfading songs, like when you're mixing them, when you're mixing the beats and you're lining all of that up, like that's amazing. To me, that's like you're creating music. That's not just hit and play and fade in a song like what I do.
Oh, that's a different level.
Yeah.
And, when I did it, it was hit play. And I'm very well aware of the fact that, like, guys like you, Ice, you would have vinyl and you could do all that stuff. Me, I just go, I'm going to hit play, do my 3-4 hours and get my check. That's an art.
Yeah, I mean,
that's like God given.
and now the technology made it so much easier with Serato and virtual DJ. It's almost like having an automatic DJ. I don't believe in it, but because I come from vinyl, so the creativity side is still there. But they got ways you can take the music out, take the vocals out. You can actually make new songs out of songs.
Whoa.
So
Really? With Serato?
yeah, Serato, yeah, they got a thing called STEM, where you can take the music out or the lyrics out.
Wow.
You can do it on the spot.
Do you use it?
Yes, I do. I mean, I could do a country western song and a song together.
Oh, I
So,
bet
you
that's
know,
fun.
Yeah.
I got a lot of remixes I've done too.
Do you? Where would I find them? Are you on Spotify? Do you have SoundCloud? What do you use?
I'll have to send them to you. I'll put them on a flash drive and send them to you. So send me the address. I got a whole file of remixes I've done with country songs.
Really? I would love to check that out, Ice. That's cool.
I mean, yeah, so I got you on that.
Okay. Yeah, I want to listen. Hey, when I was Googling you today because I was like, I need like actual information on the stations and the cities that you'd been to because it's been so long since we talked about it. Did you release an album in 1999?
Yes, I did. A compilation.
Tell me about that process and what that was like.
Well, that was funny because I released that album. Actually, a friend of mine had a label here
Okay.
in Houston. He talked me into doing a compilation of different artists in Houston, and I had a couple of national artists on there too.
Okay.
That album came out in November of 1999. Moved to Tyler in December of 1999.
Oh.
So I didn't get a chance to promote it.
Right.
But the album is still on sale today
Really?
on Amazon and all that. Yeah,
Well, I have to buy one. I got to support
Okay.
you. This is cool.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I just basically got the artists together because I was so embedded into the hip hop at the time. Like, I was the same way in Houston that I was in Tyler. Like, everybody dealt with me. So I just got about 10 artists together and put an album out.
Wow.
That's how it happened. But never got a chance to really put it because my radio career took off. I wanted to do radio.
Right.
So, you know,
Well, it can all fit together, right? Radio can help you. I mean,
Yeah.
because then you become known in Tyler, then it's easier for you to do gigs in Tyler too, right?
the Blaze was such a phenomenon in Tyler. That was easy.
Yeah.
because you had an FM hip hop radio station, which they had KZY, the AM hip hop radio station. But when the Blaze kicked in, it just took off like a bullet.
Right.
So everything kind of went together.
Yeah. Who were some of your first on-air personalities on the Blaze when you launched? You said you started out on mornings?
I started on afternoons the first time.
Okay.
So I brought in Jay Rio. I brought in Marcus Love. I had this girl named P2 who was my midday girl. I brought in 007. I brought in I had a brain fart right here. Who was the other person I brought in? Somebody you know, Brand, Mandee, Spag. It'll come back to
Brain?
Brain. Yes.
I guessed right.
I brought Brain in.
Yeah.
I gave Brain first job.
I thought I remembered you telling me that. Yeah.
I gave Brain his first job, and actually, I hired Brain right before I moved to Philadelphia.
Okay.
So when I was gone for that 2 years in Philly, Brain was a board op when I left. I gave him a job as a board op. When I came back, he was on the air.
Okay.
So he was doing, at that time, he was doing nights. He was doing nights. I was doing afternoons. But LT was the PD at the time.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about LT? I only had the chance to meet him one time, and it was, gosh, a long time ago. I think I had lunch with him and Baby J that was on Hot 107 for a long time.
Yeah.
I can't remember who
Baby
else
J.
was there, but I met them and had an opportunity to visit with them a little bit, but I didn't ever really get to know LT.
Me and LT started at 97.9 at the same time.
Okay.
Yep. LT was a board op. I was a mixer on the weekend. So LT is one of the first people I worked with. And he was a part-timer. And I was on the mix show mixing on the weekends. Then they moved me to the morning show on the box.
Okay.
And that's when I guess they blew up when I went to the morning show.
Yeah.
But LT was a part-time jock, and then they started letting them fill in different time slots. I moved to Tyler. LT was still at the box. LT took my place at the Blaze when I moved to Philly.
Okay.
Scorpio brought LT to the Blaze. And then we came back together when I went back to the Blaze.
Gotcha.
But I mean, he was a good friend of mine. I hate to see he's not here no more.
I know.
But, LT was a great guy. Great guy.
Well, who else have you worked with? I know you've brought in a lot of really interesting people over the years to work with you at the Blaze. Is there any great stories there you want to tell?
Let me think. You put me on the spot with that one.
I am. And Ice, I'm having a brain fart too. Who is your friend that worked with us for a little while at the Blaze, and he was helping out with Talk FM some too, and he's so charismatic.
Oh, it's Black.
KC. Was it KC?
No, I remember KC and I remember Black. This was, oh shoot, he was from out of town. I can't think of his name.
Oh.
Do you know who I'm talking about, Chuck?
He
was always in a good mood, always
yes.
playful, would come and sit with Shelly and me in the office and just
he was
banter with me for 30
there was
minutes.
a good 6-7 months. He was a part of the afternoon show with Brian and Craig.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
I can't think of his name. I'm having this
No, I can't.
I mean, I know Beer Run was there. That was a
not Beer Run.
That was a brain.
Yep.
It wasn't Beer Run.
No.
And the only reason I say Black is there's the
Dwayne
three
Black,
there was the
yes.
3 days where I had to do the show because Brian was sick and Black came on with me, and it was fun. It was terrifying because I'd never done anything like that, but that was
You're talking about. I know who you're talking about. You're talking about Rashad.
yes.
Rashad. Yes. I
Yes.
could not think of his name. I was thinking about him earlier today, knowing I was going to visit with you. How is he doing? What's he up to?
He's in Houston. He's good. Me and Rashad been friends
Yes.
since 1981.
Well,
we grew up together.
I thought I couldn't remember if you grew up together, but I knew you'd been friends for a very long time because you can just tell when two people have been friends for that long, the way you guys would go back and forth. And, you could tell you were friendly, but you'd also give each other, you'd give each other hell, so it was fun working with both of you.
Yeah, he's from Pittsburgh, and actually the first time
Steelers.
we met, he's a Dallas Steelers fan. And the first time we met, we had an argument about stadiums of all things.
Really?
Three Rivers and the Astrodome. So we was talking about that, and we became buddies. I talked to Rashad the other day.
Well, tell him I said hi the next time you talk to him because he was a lot of fun.
I sure will.
He was a lot of fun. So is he still in? Is he in radio or is he doing something different now in Houston?
Now he DJing.
Okay.
Like me.
Yeah. Okay.
He's DJing too.
Cool.
But yeah, I talk to him all the time.
Yeah. Well, good. That's awesome. I have so many fun memories of when we all worked together. It was such a great crew, and that office, there was never a dull moment.
Never. Be it sales,
Right.
be it programming,
Right.
be it promotions. There's always some kind of fireworks that went on in that building.
Yes.
You know, Ice, I always tell people that when I was at 99.3 and doing talk and working around you guys, I consider it the best time I've ever had in radio. I mean, we couldn't get ratings on 99.3. We couldn't sell a lick, but gosh, we had a good time. We had fun. I learned a lot just producing stuff for the afternoon guys or doing the, producing for mornings. It was a great time, but I can't tell you how many times, ratings would come out and I'd be talking to Dave and I go, we got beat by Mineola. What the hell's going on here? What, why? And you guys would get your 10 or 11, which would keep everybody afloat so we get paid and stuff. But geez, we couldn't get a lick on 99.3 at all. That was so frustrating, but it was fun.
But you know what's so funny about 99.3 is that they had various formats on 99.3. They had a Jack format.
Yes.
They had an Urban AC format.
Uh-huh.
They got Spanish now, and the Spanish station is actually doing pretty good, from what I understand.
They had a 4.5 share
numbers
last year on one of their books.
Yeah. They got decent numbers at Mega. So,
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's lasted.
So let me ask you this question, because before those frequencies, there was a country station on 99.3, right? Was it the Blaze and the Bull?
Yeah, the Bull was on 99.3 too.
Was the Bull really 99.3? Okay.
Yeah. Were you guys in the same building, or was the Bull in the Longview office?
Bull was Longview.
It was a Longview. That's what Dunn and all them worked over there.
Don
Jones.
That's right. That's
Bill,
right.
Gamble did mornings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was on that frequency, and I thought I remembered that was kind of like I don't know, a marketing thing, the Blaze and the Bull. Like it was two bold, different station. Like they were trying to
branding.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that all Rick Reynolds? Genius.
That was all Rick and Rusty. Yeah.
Yep.
Because I remember hearing Don Jones and going, "Who's this guy?" And when Don came over to our building in Tyler, I said, "What are you doing in Tyler?"
Yeah.
I just thought that Don has always been just so good, but we know that eventually he was just aiming for his pilot's license, and I totally dig that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a flyer, but the boy is. So
Yeah, I got mad respect for Dunn and Kenny Smith. Kenny is my boy. I talk Kenny every now and then.
Yes.
we talked to Kenny
And
recently.
actually, Kenny was the one who helped me get into Town Square.
Yep.
Because, Jeff Evans tried to get me to come there about a year and a half earlier.
He did?
He wanted to take me from the Blaze to do afternoons at Hot. Mm-hmm. Because they had Michael Basin on the air over there.
That's right.
He wanted a local DJ. Mm-hmm. But I didn't do it. And then a year and a half later, when I started having issues with the Blaze, me and Kenny used to talk all the time. I did his son's wedding, as a matter of fact.
Oh.
And I was telling him what was going on, and he set up with me a meeting with me and Johnny.
Yes.
Over there.
Yes.
I mean, I was out of the Blaze on Thursday. I was at the Hot on Tuesday. So
Wow.
That's how they work.
Wow.
The Blaze didn't have contracts or no compete clauses.
That's right.
Like Town Square did.
That's
Wow.
right. Hey, Ice, did you know those are gone as of September 1st? Those are non-existent in Texas anymore? Like they're not valid?
Non-compete?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know anything about that.
Yeah, I didn't either. And I was visiting a friend at Alpha Media. We were talking about somebody who was recently released from Town Square Media, and they were like, "Hey, send them over here. We could, we need local sellers." And I was like, "Well, I bet there's a non-compete." And she was like, "Oh no, September 1st, unless you're like a a C-level executive, like, you know, high up in corporate, like a COO or CFO or something. Yeah, then they might have them in their contracts, but like the everyday person like us, they're not valid anymore.
Non-compete for sellers. I never heard of that. That's interesting.
Really? You've never heard of that?
Not for sellers. Jocks, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the first thing. If I remember, I think over at, what's Alpha? I think when, I forgot the folks that preceded them, when they took over, we had to sign off on something that said we agreed to this. You know, they did this thing where essentially they kind of fired us and hired us back within about 5 seconds. And you had to sign off on this that said, yeah, I agree. And I'm like, no, because internally, Ice, you're saying, no, this is BS. I'm not going to do it. You know, and I just went in with other things after they fired me. I had about 3 months.
You know, Mandy, that's true, because when I left Hot, Robin wanted to get me at the Blaze to sell advertising, become a AE. But my non-compete wouldn't let me do it.
Yeah, I know. When I left and came over to work with you guys, at that time it was East Texas Radio Group still. They sent me a cease and desist letter, even though I was doing traffic, you know, and at the time, well, I was a little bit disgruntled. There were some things that happened and reasons why I left. So I had an attorney friend that I did some side work for. I wrote some letters for him and did some organizational work, and he wrote a letter for me back to the powers that be over there that said, lawyer up, I'm going head to head with you. Bring it on, but I'm going to sue you personally because you've treated me like crap. So I'll sue you. I'll countersue you here, and I'm going to sue this person and this person too. Let's go. And they left me alone.
Silence ensued.
Silence ensued. Yeah, because I knew that this guy, number one, the guy told me, he was like, I don't think it's going to hold water. And a lot of times this is a scare tactic, is what he told me. And I said, well, I'm angry and I'm willing to work for you part-time as long as it takes to work this off. And he was like, okay. So he was pretty great. And yeah, I got that letter, I think 2 weeks after I'd come to work with you guys. And then I sent my letter back, and I think I worked for him for probably another 3 months, and then all was done, and I was just hanging out at the Blaze. And then I couldn't believe you offered me that midday position, Ice. I mean, that was pretty wild.
Well, I mean, I heard you doing commercials and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you was better than what I had at the time.
Well, thank you.
So, you know, and I had been, I was thinking about it before I even told you about it.
Were you?
I say, you know what? She might be good in this position.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
and that's something I didn't even tell. Was Benny the GM at the time?
He was. Yes, he was.
Okay. Yeah, Benny had just got there.
He was new.
And Cokie from the Breeze I had on the air.
That's right. Yep.
So I replaced Cokie with you. I felt like you was better. Well, and you was really into it.
I did. So, I really enjoyed it. I felt like she was a little bit, and I don't want to run her down at all, but it seems like I remember her not showing up for something or whatever, and I was kind of like, oh, girl, you're not going to last long in radio if you don't show up on time for things.
You got to be prompt.
You got to be, you got to show up.
Not only that, her allegiance was still to the Breeze. And, she was really more into what they had going on than what we had going on, because when I needed her for stuff, she was never available.
Yeah.
But I would see her hanging out with Brain and Carter and all them guys over there. I'm like, wait a minute, hold up.
Yeah.
So are you working as a double agent for them? What are you doing?
Right.
With Jane Bond.
Yeah, now Jamie Bond, that's who she was.
Yeah. Wow. I always thought your lead should be whoever pays you every 2 weeks, that's who you're loyal to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, really her hire was more of a Benny thing, because Benny was at the Breeze too.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he came from over there.
He came from the Breeze to the Blaze. So did David Morley.
Oh, well, yeah, he went from the Breeze, and then he did a little bit of time at Sunny whenever I was over there, because I had an opportunity to work for him. And man, what a great program director for that particular format. Ice, it was, I've been really fortunate. I got to work with you, as a PD. I got to work with Dave as a PD, Chuck. I mean, I feel like I just was really, really blessed. I had such good leadership and direction from you guys.
But you always took direction well. I mean, Right Ice, I mean, she's always been terrific in what she does and makes it easier for any program director that works with you, right? Yes. Just nod your head.
Well, she was better than a lot of the guys that have been there with me for years. Like, you know, they just had some other stuff going on. I don't know what was up with them, you know?
Well, I like to, how do I say this? If somebody gives me good parameters, I'm going to do my best to meet or exceed your expectations. That's my goal when I take on a job or a task. And I care. And I cared about the station. I cared about you. I wanted to make you look good, make the station sound good. If you were going to put your faith in me, then I was going to give it my best effort.
And what I did appreciate about you being there is that you didn't know a lot about the format.
No.
But you asked questions about the format.
Yes.
You know, you wasn't afraid to ask questions where a lot of these guys, and I remember one jock I had named Summer. Remember Summer? I don't know if y'all knew Summer.
I didn't get to meet Summer, but Craig knew Summer, and he had told me about Summer.
Summer was naive, but what I liked about Summer is that, you know, she had low morale about radio too.
Okay.
I used to make Summer write down all of her breaks.
Yeah.
On a legal pad. Write down everything she was going to say on a legal pad and read it. Then she became so good she didn't have to do it anymore.
Right. Yeah.
But it was being able to teach. I like to teach people, you know, certain things.
Yep.
And I like to teach people that like to listen. Like,
Right.
look, this is the way to do it.
Yes.
You was asking me more about the music, and you know, you came from the type of radio you came from, but it's all radio.
That's true. Yeah.
It's all, no matter what the music format is, it's all radio. So that's what I appreciate about you. You were a good listener,
Thank
and
you.
you were a team player.
Yeah.
Where these other guys had other agendas, you know.
Well, I probably wasn't as, I don't know, maybe as smart as they were to have the other agendas and the side hustles and stuff going. But I cared about the whole group too. I wanted Talk to do well. I sat in once or twice, I think, with Brian and just chatted because it was fun. And I liked the guys. I liked what they were doing on the show. And, you know, I wanted everybody to be successful in the building. Even this, and I, you know, helped with sales. I was sales assistant to a few people.
Yeah.
I helped Larry Gunner a lot. I don't know if you remember this about Larry Ice, but he didn't really do much on the computer. I think he hand wrote his sales orders, and then I would, you know, kind of have to decipher them and put them into the system for him. But he was great. He was always so appreciative. He was always so kind and fun, easy to work with.
Sweetheart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Gunner, good guy. I never had any problems with people, even in Town Square Media, any problems, you know.
Yeah.
It's just that it didn't work out.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
And that's, you know, same with me. I love everybody that's over there still. I go over there occasionally and just hang out because I like all the people. The way they were kind of structuring the position didn't work for me anymore. And because I wasn't enjoying it, I wasn't giving it my best effort. And so it just became like incongruent. So it was time for me to kind of step away. But yeah, I still want them to do well too. I mean, I love all the people over there.
And you've got to enjoy your job.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I always say that, you know, I work in a newsroom now at KTBB, and I always tell my friends, you can have fun in a newsroom. We're just not sitting around talking politics. I mean, gosh, there was one day one of our news guys, Jared Jones. Jared is like 21 Ice, and he sounds so good. He's this combination of really, really good. He has confidence that's like over the moon, and he's a little bit crazy too. But, you know, it was like one day we have a situation where if you have your birthday, you get pizza or donuts, and it was going around the newsroom. Hey, it's been like a month and a half since somebody's had a birthday, and we were thinking about, hey, can we go online and get like a birth certificate and forge it and give it to Meredith so she can get us some donuts. Meredith is our second in command. And we're like, can we do this? Would this be considered bad form? What would Paul Gleiser think? Would he think that we're bad people? And so I think Jared kind of approached Meredith and said, "Oh, it has been a while since we've had donuts," and walked away. But
the craziest thing about all this stuff, Chuck,
yeah,
is that I developed friends for life.
Oh yeah, and
you know, like I hadn't heard from Mandee in such a long time. As a matter of fact, the last time I heard from Mandee or saw her, Carlene were together at a remote. I did one time.
Yes.
It was at what's the Burke's outlet or whatever it was in Longview.
Yeah.
That's the last time I saw you.
Oh my gosh, that's been way too long.
Yeah.
You gotta call me when you're in town. We need to go get dinner or something.
That's cool. I'll just text you or call you, whatever. I'll be out there. I may be out there next Thursday. My kids live out there.
Really?
They live in Kilgore, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, let us know when you're in town. Chuck and I have been also trying to put together some kind of, we've enjoyed visiting with our friends so much. And many of them we don't work with on a day-to-day basis anymore. We've been kind of talking around the idea of maybe trying to do some kind of like reunion where we're all together. If we did that, would you want an invitation?
No doubt, I would.
Okay, good. Well, I'm sort of still figuring out logistics and what that would look like and whatnot. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet, but
it'd be like every live mic that we know will probably be hooking it.
Yeah. I'm thinking I might have to do something crazy like rent Liberty Hall or something, and then just rotate people on the stage. Like I don't know what it's going to look like. Maybe I'll let you guys roast me or something. I don't know.
But what is there bad to say about you?
I don't know. That's what would be funny.
I'm trying to think. What do you say bad? Nothing. Oh, I don't think that. I don't like that.
I don't know. Something. We'll come up with some kind of something, because I think Liberty Hall has the ability to record. So if we were able to potentially maybe share some stories or something from the stage, I think maybe I could get them to record it.
Liberty Hall, is that, you mean like Liberty Theater?
Yeah, downtown.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I haven't been there for a while, but they do ICE. They have a thing there where they'll do like classic movies. And it was a number of years ago, it was like E.T. was there, so I took my great nephew there, and it was a nice little experience. We were in the back row eating popcorn and going, "Oh, I've seen the movie a billion times," but it was fun, hanging out with the little ones and stuff.
Yeah,
no doubt.
How old are your kids, Ice?
25, 21, and 20.
What?
Are they all in Kilgore?
Yeah, they're all in Kilgore. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
What's up in Kilgore? Did they go to Kilgore College and go on to other things from there, or?
No, they're working. My youngest son goes to Kilgore College.
Oh, okay.
He's there. But they just working and living their life, they doing their thing.
That's awesome.
There's a lot to be said about doing that. It's, it's kind of like, in our business, you get to this point where, and I don't, and it sounds like I'm diving into something negative. I'm not. It's just you go, well, I'm going to go where the work is, where there's a live mic, and, tell me what to do. In this case, it's like I'm helping to put together a 5 o'clock news show Monday through Friday. I'm the time and temp guy. It's like I always tell people, I have 13 times in an hour that I have to say KTBB news time, blah, 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 temperatures. And, we go to Roger Gray or Jared Jones and, try not to screw it up. And, it's working and they're keeping me around. So I am digging it.
And Roger Gray is over there?
Roger, yes.
Okay.
Roger's been, okay. I don't know if did you know that John Sims passed away a couple of years ago?
No, I didn't.
John passed away. It will be 2 years in April. He died March 31st, 2 years ago. And it was a horrible thing. He was walking one morning and he was in a crosswalk and a car knocked him, barely brushed him, and he fell back and hit his head on a curb, and it was like broken egg. And it was awful.
Wow.
And John was the type where he was the day that we knew something was wrong. I'll never forget, it was a Tuesday. We would have news meetings at 10. And Melissa Kaiser, I said, "Where's John?" And Melissa Kaiser said, "Well, he's probably doing something." And John was the type, if he had to do something and he wasn't there, you would know by email. He would put it on the whiteboard. You knew, and there was nothing on it. And by 10:15, we were all kind of just getting that queasy feeling. And I think by about 11, Meredith and Dafford and our ops guy Jeff Rourke went over, and then they eventually found Tyler. Police had encountered, because when John was walking, he didn't have his wallet or phone with, so somebody had to identify him, and so it was just, it was something else. And so I guess about 2 months after that, Roger came aboard and has been with us. It'll be probably like 2 years in June. So
Yeah.
and that's great to have. I told Roger his first newscast, I said, you're like having an old friend coming back,
So, Ice, you guys are both from Houston. Did you
Yeah, I
watch or
remember Roger
listen? Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Did you watch or listen to him?
Yeah, I remember him being on Fox.
Yeah.
Was now Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to do news on TV and all that down there. Mm-hmm. And this is when I was real young in the game. So, I knew Roger when he worked for us, too, over there at the news talk station.
Yes.
Well, he was over there. I used to talk to him a lot then about, man, I grew up watching you and that type of thing.
Yeah. That's awesome. We actually visited with Roger yesterday on the podcast. I think, Chucky, you finished editing it last night or this morning, didn't you?
Working on it, yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to go up in about a week. So the 22nd, I think, is when that one's going to release, Ice. And then we plan to have you go up Thanksgiving weekend. You're going to be our Black Friday, our Black Friday special.
You want to give me the pressure?
Yeah, you're the superstar.
I wish.
I think you are. I think what you guys did with the Blaze is extraordinary, truly. And I think it's so cool that you got to be there from like the genesis of it and see it just explode and develop. And, one of the things we talked about this with Roger yesterday, radio's great, or it was really great at creating community. And I feel like you guys did a great job of that at the Blaze.
Yes. And they still doing it. So, that's really hats off to Minnie and Dave and all them over there in management.
Yes.
So they celebrating 25 years too this year.
Really?
Wow. I knew it was over 20.
Huh?
I knew it was over 20 years for sure.
This year is 25.
Wow. So that you said that they went on the air in December?
In December of 1999. So next month.
Wow.
We'll make 25 years.
That anniversary is coming up. So who do you think, who else should we talk to, Ice, then that's from the Blaze in the beginning? Do you think we should interview somebody else and kind of celebrate and congratulate them?
Marcus Love, because he's been there longer than anybody else.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Marcus
we'll reach
came
out.
right after me.
Okay.
He's been there, he left, and he came back. So
Okay.
he can tell you the beginning stories of what the Blaze was and the Rick Reynolds years and and all that. So
Black,
Awesome.
too. Dwayne Black, too.
Yeah.
you can interview Black, but Marcus been there longer than Black.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So
Both
you
would
can
be
really
great.
interview both of them.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I recommend. Black and Marcus Love.
Awesome. Any other stories you got for us, Ice, before we wrap up?
We have to do it on part 2.
Well,
Okay.
we have determined, Ice, that as we've been talking to our radio friends, that we are coming back for another rotation, as it were. So we'll be picking you up number 2, definitely.
Because number 2 will be more about the industry stuff. Like when I DJed for 2 Live Crew, the record label stuff I dealt with and all that stuff.
All right, Ice, you got to send me notes so I can
Yeah.
prep. But yeah, let's do
Okay, I
that
got
for
you.
sure. Let's do that for sure.
I got your back like a jazz sport. I got you.
Thank you. Well, hey, have a great Sunday. I don't know if you're watching football today. I feel like you will be, but thanks for making time for us this month.
Are you a Texans fan, by the way, Ice?
No, New England Patriots. I hate the Texans.
You do. How do you?
And I hate the Cowboys, of course.
Well, everybody does, I think, almost. But
No, I'm going to tell you something about East Texas. Not everybody in East Texas is a Kansas City Chiefs fan,
That's
And we
true.
know why. They love KC now.
Yeah, we all love
Oh,
Patrick
sure.
Mahomes. Yeah.
But I've said too, every team loses eventually. Look at, whatever team you're looking at. But I do like the young quarterback with Houston, C.J. Stroud. I like him a lot.
But yeah, he's a stud.
I mean, he's, what is he? I think he's 23 now, and it seems like he's like mature way above his years. I like D'Amico Ryans a lot as a coach. His whole thing is like, it doesn't matter how we won. Let's go on to the next team. I like him a lot.
Well, they got a tough one tonight against Detroit, so pray for them.
Well, the Lions, yeah. It used to be with the Lions, you could go, oh, well, it's an easy win. It's like I said, they're not your grandpa's or your dad's team anymore. These guys are a bunch of studs, and they're going to beat your ass probably if you give them half a chance.
Hey, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not a super sports fan, but D'Amico Ryans and I can't remember his name. The coach from the Lions, are they both former players?
Yeah, he was a linebacker.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So that ought to be interesting.
Wasn't D'Amico originally? He played for the original Texans, I think, right?
He played for him, and Dan
so.
Campbell went to Texas A&M. So
Yes,
Yeah.
Dan Campbell. Thank you. I was like, I know his name, and I can't think of it right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Lions are so. To me, it's interesting to watch where you have teams like that. It's almost like a few years ago when the Bengals started coming back, and you're going, wow, these guys are real. It's not like you're playing Cincinnati and we're losing. It's to me, the Cowboys are the strange thing, because when I used to do work with Brian and Reed, I said, we have a few more years of the Cowboys losing. They're going to be like the Bengals of the South.
Oh, yeah.
And that was like 10 years ago, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Also, too, I want to let you guys know that recently, Rice University here in Houston, they put me in their Hip Hop Hall of Fame.
Did they really?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
They gave me an award back in October for that.
Congratulations.
So they archived it and everything.
Oh, that's neat. So they had the big ceremony and dinner, stuff like that?
Yeah. It was a big ceremony, and I didn't even know I was getting an award. I was DJing the event.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Part 2. We'll talk. And then we'll have to ask and get the origin story of Luscious Ice.
Oh,
How'd you get your name? Occasionally we.
Oh, God. Let's go back to 1981.
Whoa.
Really?
Okay. My track coach called me Ice, right? Mm-hmm. We had a friend, and it was female, in the lunchroom. She's the only female sitting at the table. She gave me the Luscious part, because she used to call all of us Luscious whoever. She gave me that, and I put it together. I'm like, okay, I like that. That's different. I had never heard that before.
Yeah, I hadn't either.
And I've been running with it ever since.
This has been another episode of The Unknown Morning Show.
I'm Mandee Montana.
And I'm Chuck McKinley.
This is our show to explore radio,
Podcasting.
gear,
And the gearheads that use the gear.
and making money with a hot mic.
And other stuff in between.
We'd love for you to follow us on social media as well. Follow us on Facebook at The Unknown Morning Show and Instagram at The Unknown Morning Show. See us on YouTube at The Unknown Morning Show.
Thank you for listening to The Unknown Morning Show.
I'm Mandee Montana.
I'm Chuck McKinley. And remember, be kind and